Welcome to the historical market town of Spilsby in Lincolnshire, birthplace of this gentleman here, Sir John Franklin, discoverer of the Northwest Passage. We're here for an entirely different reason. Just a few hundred yards up the road at the Spilsby Theatre, the crew are in there preparing for what will be the shoot of Barbara Dickson's debut DVD release. It's very exciting because this is the first concert that Barbara has filmed in more than 20 years. Let's go up there and have a look and see how the crew are getting on.
Just going to swing down that way. Put something on top of this.
Just going to that side, on there.
Yeah.
What? Slow.
Don't go away with it.
Down it. Yeah.
I want rid in my hands, oh baby. Might be able to just pass it up without going there. Oh, goodness me, that was a nice bonding experience. Oh, hello, Lucy. Yeah. You're going to get a man hug off him.
Hi everyone, how are you doing? Lovely to see you.
Excuse us, we're going to...
Right, we'll go to Bowl.
We're going to check
Well, it
out...
used to be over the courthouse.
Oh, I see. So it wasn't
the chapel?
No, there's a court at the moment.
Yeah. Well, did you come up this morning or last
No,
night?
last night. We stayed in the pub last night.
Stayed in the White Hart last night.
Yeah.
It was nice.
It's okay?
Yeah, it was good.
So will you be alright here?
We're going to look now.
Yeah.
So this should be where the band are sleeping. This is called the Snow White Room.
So we got Russell the drummer, Nick the keyboard player, Sleepy the pipes player, Grumpy the bass player, and Grumpy the saxophone player.
Yeah.
So in fact they're all grumpy.
What do you think of this then?
Somebody's been sleeping in my bed.
That is fantastic.
What a great room.
Excellent. See ya.
Sideways hangers in.
We'll go along the back, down the outside of there, down round the curve here.
I guess so. Yeah.
There's only going to be two little gaps here, which we'll just go.
Yeah, that's fine. It's insane amount of kit. Shall we take the pipes in mono then, or the bouzouki in mono?
Well, the acoustic's going through there, so let's have the pipes in mono.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so what's
what's Sheldon going to do?
So who's the bass player
To do for now. There's a clear way across the backstage, but it will be.
Fantastic.
Am I correct in being informed by the band?
Yes,
Obviously, I don't
darling.
leave them out of hand.
Yeah, ask me, I'll tell
You're
you.
not using your stool.
Yes, I am using
You
my
are
stool.
using your stool, so the band were
The
completely
band
wrong.
is completely
Thank you.
wrong.
Right,
My
okay.
stool is being used on 2 songs. I wouldn't have brought it if I didn't
No,
want
I
it.
thought so.
Did you see the rickety stand?
I think it's all right. We're going to have a look for some bolts because all that really needs to happen, someone can replace all the bolts on one side.
Yeah. Start with the right movement, power hands, find flowers in the valley, times they are a-changing, western wind into Corpus Christi, easy terms, the water is wide, I know so well, and the air escapes. So, I mean, are you up for kind of running it as continuously as possible? And hopefully we will have done it tomorrow afternoon for Fridays and stuff that you want to do. What's that little case
That's on your gear, the little wooden thing.
Well, that comes with a South American instrument that I was given. And I still can't quite figure out how it works.
Really?
But in the meantime, it does good as a penny whistle case. Because and just so you got to worry about those things. Yeah.
That's correct. Right.
What you should do is keep the jingles and the pins as spares.
Can you see me making a tambourine?
Leave it to me.
You are
Just keep them because that's
keep
all
them.
that's worth keeping with that.
And I'll give them to you.
Even better.
I'll donate them to you.
A jar. I've got jars of them.
It's not the same as yours.
They come to bits.
No, we're sound checking now.
We're just
Gareth, this is-
Sorry.
Sorry, mate, if you need to do. I was just. Are you
Oh
going to do?
gosh, sorry, I haven't plugged that in. And there's a cable underneath on the floor for that.
I was going to try and. No, that's great. Thank you.
Andre arriving. Andre! Do I ever need to see you? Have you got your bag?
I've got everything.
Oh, lovely to see you. How was your journey?
Very good, very
Fantastic. Have you got all your stuff?
I've got all my stuff.
Magic kit in there. Can't wait. Look at my hair. I've just washed it. So hopefully we'll be okay. Come with me. There's a problem here with this rejigging the set list. It's a technical problem, it's logistics. Could you come here? I'm sorry to make you stop doing what you're doing.
You're playing your acoustic in Millworker.
Yeah.
At the end of Millworker, I've got things I have to do at the front of the
That's
stage.
all right, yeah.
At the end of Love Hurts, I've got things I've got to do at the front
That's
of the
okay,
stage.
yeah.
And that wouldn't leave me anywhere to get your guitar and retune it for the Water is Wide.
I don't play the guitar on Water is Wide. I play guitar on I Know Him So Well.
Yeah, no, that's it, because I retune
Yeah,
it
you're
during
thinking
Water is
you're
Wide.
thinking that I'm playing after that. There's the interval there.
Yeah. Still got to do the mic changes when I need to be round the back grabbing his guitar off of him.
Just keeping the small selection of
Well, this is the gorgeous Andre Suard, who has come from London to care for my face and my hair today. So as it's a DVD, it's very important, I think, that I look my best, and he looks after me. And here we are in a little cell. We're in the cells together, not for the first time. It's usually after riotous behaviour, isn't it, in some club in London. Anyway, here we are in Spilsby. And we're getting ready for tonight. We're doing it in advance, so it's all done. We can concentrate on the music soon. Don't have to worry about what I look like.
Done to go.
Troy.
Yes.
Here we are at the Spilsby Theatre.
Indeed.
Used to be a court. Never been here before, have you?
Never been here before. It's one of the few theatres in the country I haven't visited, but I'm impressed. It's very nice.
I wasn't actually referring to the theatre. I was just thinking about maybe the court, that's all.
Oh, yeah. Oh, of course. I'm a bit slow. It's been a long day.
Well, we've just done the rehearsal for the gig tonight. You're playing in Barbara Dickson's band.
Yes.
You kind of fulfil a kind of dual role as regards Barbara at the moment. You're also a producer as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I have been for a few years now. I've known Barbara since, I think it was 1994, 93 we first met. And I just played in a kind of session capacity with her then, but we did quite a few tours. But since we both discovered a serious affinity with traditional music and other kinds of music, but we've got a very similar taste in music. So as a result, we decided we would do an album which we call Full Circle, of music that was close to our hearts, and we did that about 3 years ago. And I did an album of Beatles songs with her last year, and I'm just about to finish the new album, which is called Time and Tide.
A lot of people, of course, think of Barbara and they think of the big hit singles like I Know Him So Well,
That's
and
right.
The Suitcase Under the Hall, and
Yeah,
of course
yeah.
the pop hits that she had.
Yeah.
But before she had the pop hits, she was very involved in the folk scene and the traditional scene, wasn't she?
She's a much more complicated. She's more complicated than people think.
Yeah.
She came from a traditional music background, and that in itself is serious credibility. You know, to tackle the epic songs that we're doing now. She was playing in folk clubs in the 60s, and she kind of accidentally moved into the world of pop. But as she'll tell you, a great love is traditional music. But she's also very Catholic in her music taste, as I am. And as I say, we both share that. Yeah.
Tonight's concert is being filmed for a DVD. In fact, it's Barbara's first DVD.
Yeah,
she made a video, I think it was 1984, 23 or 4 years ago.
Blimey, that's a long time
Which I think
ago.
has come out since on DVD, but this is the first one specifically made for DVD.
Yeah, I mean, this is a dedicated concert, dedicated shoot. And it's about time, really. And what's really wonderful is it's catching the band at a peak as well. We're going to go out and do another big tour next year, and the format we've got now, both musically and band-wise, band member-wise, it's absolutely wonderful. It's the best. It's just the best situation we've been in for a long time.
Well, I just watched the rehearsal, which is necessary, really. If you think you're spending a lot of money making a DVD, you want to get it right. How much extra pressure is on the band and Barbara, obviously, to get it right? Because, I mean, this is a one-off gig in front of a small, intimate audience, and it's got to be right, hasn't it?
It most certainly has, and it's terrifying yet exhilarating at the same time. We've rehearsed for a week with it, but that means nothing when it comes down to it.
It's tightrope stuff, though, isn't it?
It most certainly is, and as you say, we've only got one show to do it in. A lot of bands, a lot of artists maybe do 3 shows, but because of time restraints, we've only been able to do the one show. So it is flying by the seat of the pants tonight, and but I'm getting a good vibe in here. I think we'll pull it off.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so.
Set list is really eclectic. I mean, there's songs going right the way back to Barbara's traditional roots.
Indeed.
There's a song, obviously, from John, Paul, George, Ringo and Birth.
Yeah.
That's where I came on board in the mid-70s. And then there's some of the bigger hits. But there's also some new material as well from the album. Is this the first opportunity you've had to play any of the new album live?
Absolutely, it is, yeah. And until about 3 days ago, a couple of the members of the band hadn't actually heard them. So it's miraculous that they've been knocked into such good shape over only 4 days, and they're sounding fantastic.
Are you happy with the way they sound live? Because you're the producer, and a studio is different from live, isn't it?
It certainly is, and I was really kind of I felt dubious about it, and I thought, well, there's so much going on the recordings. I've got lots of stuff multi-layered, and
kitchen sink.
Full kitchen sink. And I thought, I wonder if we're going to be able to pull this off, but the band is so brilliant that it's great. It's really working, and I'm really, really pleased.
The tour that Barbara and the band are doing in February is obviously it's a lot bigger venues. I mean, if we look here, it's a very intimate venue. I mean, how does in terms of dynamics, how's that for the band?
Well, it's wonderful. When we're on tour, we generally do the big theatres, bigger theatres, and some of them are really big. But then we do occasionally slip into little venues, a bit like this, and it's just a different feel and a different dynamic between the audience and the band. And it all adds up to a really colourful tour when you're doing small shows and then big shows. And it keeps you on your toes as well, because when you can see the whites of the eyes of people, it's a bit, blimey. Better get this right.
You're making it sound a bit like a battle.
Yeah,
shoot till you see the whites of their eyes.
It can be. It can be, but it's wonderful. We've got a nice over the last few years. We've been developing a nice feel with the audience as well. We're getting wonderful response from audience members to the music, to the direction that Barbara's moved into, which is wonderful.
Presumably this DVD will be perhaps ready for the tour or just after the tour.
Yeah.
Is there going to be anything different on the tour in February from tonight, or is this basically what the audience is going to get? No,
definitely not. We'll be doing quite a few different songs on the tour.
Okay.
To what we're doing tonight. There's only 3 songs from the new album that we're going to perform tonight, but when we go out on tour we'll do at least 6. So there's a few more of those to do, plus we're going to delve into the back catalogue and do some other stuff as well, including some of our famous stuff.
Lovely. Well, good luck for tonight, Troy. Great speaking to you as ever.
Wonderful.
We'll see you again soon.
Definitely. Thanks.
Russell Fields, you're the drummer, obviously, with the Barbara Dickson band. Good to speak to you today. The concert here at the Spilsby Theatre, it's a one-off for the filming of the DVD, Barbara's debut DVD.
Yeah.
Again, like a couple of the members of the band, some of the new material you only heard at the beginning of the week of the rehearsals.
Yeah.
How's that? Because the pressure must be really on for someone like this. You're coming in to do a gig where it's got to be right. You get one chance at it.
Yeah.
And here, we're going to do some new songs.
Yeah. Well, we've had a week to get together, and Barbara's great. We spend, like a half a day on each track, and then we run things. We get time to prepare. We've been sent the tracks to have a listen to. But my problem is some of the tracks require quite big sounds, and so I'm having to use a sampler for some of those because I just can't fit the drum on the stage, So we're having to get those together and knowing when to trigger things like that, But it's all done live. But,
obviously.
But because of the depth of the sound, and some of it's orchestrated as well, it's got that kind of feel.
The arrangements are what I would call very dense. I mean, there's a lot to them. And obviously, as a drummer, how do you sort of fit in with something like that?
Well, the biggest problem is picking which part you're going to play if there's lots of overdubs on the album, you see. And so you think, well, what one am I actually going to go for? And then once you decide that, I think you just got to headlong into it. But no, Troy's a great arranger, and it translates really well live. I think it's a little bit stripped down, but it does. I don't think it suffers really. I think it works really well. You just got to make a choice bit of pruning.
I saw the rehearsal earlier today, and it sounded amazing. I mean, it's a very big sound.
Yeah.
And I know, obviously, a lot of drummers, they don't like sampling, but I mean, I really think that because there's not a great deal.
No, it's just a little.
But it does
snippets.
work, and it really. I mean, it's such a big sound for that band. I mean, you guys make a big sound.
Yeah.
And some of the songs obviously need that as well.
Yeah, the Corpus Christi carol. I've got like a gamelan part thing, and there's no way I could bring a gamelan.
No, obviously.
So I've had to sample the three notes. But you see, you've got to understand, people sort of seem to think that it's easy, but.
Everybody thinks that's easy for a drummer, but I know what you mean.
And what I'm trying to say is, you sample the sound, you've still got to play it so it's all played live. It's just each individual sound is robbed.
Of course, as a drummer, everybody thinks you've got the easy job at the back, keeping it all together. But I mean, the set for Barbara's DVD is so diverse. I mean, you've got the big show tunes from Chess and Ibiza, and you've got the poppy material. And then, of course, you've got the traditional material as well. I mean, you are, if you like, all things to all men. How do you approach a set like this? I mean, it obviously keeps you interested and keeps you busy through the set.
Yeah.
I mean,
mild panic. No. Barbara's a great. She leads everything really well. Troy's fantastic. I think when things are arranged and you've got good kind of leadership, if you like, at the front, you can just follow in behind. It's usually fairly obvious what's required, although it's quite a light. It's got some of it requires quite a light sort of touch, because you don't want to play over Barbara's voice,
No,
so
obviously not.
That's the thing,
Well, I mean, overplaying can be for some drummers a big thing, but I mean, watching the rehearsal, you played it absolutely bang on the nose.
Well, it's very kind of you to say.
No, I mean, watched the rehearsal. I was really impressed, and of course, because it's a DVD shoot, you've got to get it right. Troy actually said this particular band is really at the peak at the moment. Would you go along with that?
Well, I've been in Barbara's band this will be my fourth tour, so I've not been around for all those years before, but it certainly feels great and I love it. I'm really glad to be on the gig. It's really quite different from anything I've done before. Particularly also having someone lead the band like Barbara does as well, and how she treats everybody with a great deal of respect and inclusion. It's just fantastic. I think people can feel that as well.
Yeah, I think so.
We just get on, and I think that's the key, and we have fun doing it.
Well, I'm sure the DVD is going to be welcomed by the large fan base. It's a long time since Barbara's recorded a live concert. I think it's about over 20 years.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a great intro for her back into the sort of live, if you like, visual aspect of things.
Yeah.
And of course, you've got the tour coming up in February and April 2008.
Yeah, which I'm looking forward to. That's going to be
Well, Russell, thanks for talking to us today.
Thank you very much indeed. Cheers. Thank you.
We're joined now by Pete Zorn, multi-instrumentalist in Barbara Dickson's band. You're a very busy guy. You've just finished a tour, you were telling me before, with Richard Thompson. Here we are tonight in Spilsby, at the Spilsby Theatre for the shoot of the Barbara Dickson DVD, and you're going to be touring with Barbara in February and April as well.
That's right, and I'm off tomorrow to work with Beth Nielsen Chapman.
Gosh, what it is to be popular.
Oh, I know, I'll tell you. It doesn't happen all the time.
Do you ever have to sometimes think, hang on, who am I playing with tonight? What set are we working from?
Yes, in fact, tonight. No, this is one of the nights I know who I'm playing with.
Okay, well, of course, for maybe some people who don't know, I actually do know, you go back to the 70s, the mid-70s with Barbara, don't you?
Yes, I go back to 74, autumn of 74.
Mm-hmm.
She came down to London with John, Paul, George, Ringo and Bert.
That's right.
And they didn't want to use the band they came down with, so they got a bunch of session players in. And luckily I got the phone call to come and do some bass and some backing vocals, and I've been with her on and off ever since, really.
Yeah, I can remember seeing you playing bass in the band in the 70s. Of course, now we have a fine array of things you blow in, things you strum, and things you shake.
Absolutely, yeah. So, I mean, it's all stuff I played at the time, but in the end, you know, you come over and you're the sort of the flash yank, and you don't want to say, oh, I'm taking everybody else's gig. So I just say, look, I go out on bass, and if you find out that I play something else, I'll admit to it.
Okay,
you know,
but I don't. Fair enough.
Yeah, it's a lot like I also play, this and that. Nobody wants that, so you don't impose on it.
Tonight's gig is special for a number of reasons. It's a lovely, intimate, small theatre in front of an invited audience, and of course it's Barbara's debut DVD. I didn't realise that, because I know she'd done a video which has since come out on DVD, but that's more than 20 years ago now.
I know.
It seems strange that this is only the second real in-concert sort of performance that's been filmed.
Yes, it's true, and it's been a long time coming. But obviously there were contractual reasons. There were
the normal music
the
scene
normal
thing.
stuff.
Yeah.
But now she's calling all her own shots, and it's turning out the way she wants it to be, which is great.
How, as a musician, do you fit in with a band like this, where obviously you're coming into this, the band have been rehearsing for a week, you do the show, you're off with somebody else next week, and then you come back to the band again to do, another tour. I mean, how does that work for you, fitting in with the dynamics of a band? Because bands generally always have their own level and their own dynamic, don't they?
They do. I liken it to tribes, different tribes, and they all have their own language and their own way of looking at things. And I've always, years ago, I decided I wanted to be a professional band member. I didn't want to be a lone for hire musician.
Yeah.
I wanted to be in different bands, and I think you have to be in different bands just to get enough work over the long term.
Yeah.
So it's something that people are used to. And it's something that it suits my mentality. You're going between groups of friends.
Yeah.
And it's always good to see everyone again and get back into the swing of things. You'd be surprised how little time it takes to get back into it.
Are we talking bad behaviour here?
Not behavior. No, I mean, I'm talking strictly musical here.
Okay.
Just
but I'm sure you've all had your moments,
and it just gels.
The thing about the Barbara Dickson band is, I mean, Barbara's never ever played with, if you like, bad musicians or musicians that couldn't cut it. They've always been great. I mean, I can remember you as part of the 70s band, and more recently, obviously, you're in the band again. I mean, how would you describe the difference between this band? We talked to Troy Donackley, and he said this band really is at a peak now. I mean, how would you compare this band to Barbara's band in the 70s? I mean, the band in the 70s was very good as well.
It was, and I think it was a peak for its time. It was very good for its time, but it had volatile elements because we were all that age.
Yeah, obviously.
And we all had ambitions and all this kind of thing. Now there's less to prove, and there's, everybody's of a standard, and we all get on together. And I think in the long run, it's more important to get on together. You make better music if you get on together.
Presumably it's more enjoyable as well.
Oh yeah, a lot more.
It's always easier when everyone gets on.
Oh yeah, and there's right down to every crew member, everyone who travels with us, they're all handpicked, they've all come back again and again.
Okay.
we're all known
It's like a
quantities.
family then, isn't it?
It is very much a family. Yeah.
You feature in the song. It's quite. I'd never sort of heard you do it before tonight when we had this afternoon when we had the rehearsal. I know him so well. You sing the part that Elaine Page originally sang.
That's right.
I mean,
yeah.
But it works really well.
I think so. This is the most intimate version we've done. Up until now, we've done the kind of the ABBA version.
Yeah.
You know, really, where the very intimate verse and then everybody comes in like a ton of bricks on the chorus and it's big. We wanted to keep the whole thing small, and it's much more. It's much more dangerous.
It
in a
is,
way,
but it's a real. I mean, it's a great arrangement. I mean, who's responsible for the arrangement of this?
Well, Troy came up with the setting and the idea of keeping it that intimate, and then we arranged for our parts. You know, basically.
Because I think with this particular arrangement, it's probably, I know it's difficult, it's probably going to make people forget the original arrangement. The original song was great, but this arrangement is something else.
Yeah, I think, I'm very glad this is on the DVD because for years I've said people, they have their opinion about Barbara based on the two Ronnies or, you know, the odd interview on television, and I say, see her live.
Yeah.
And that's all I've got to say, see her live.
And of course, with this DVD, everybody will get the opportunity.
Absolutely.
Pete, great to speak to you.
And you.
Thanks. Nick.
Hi.
Nick Holland, the keyboard player in Barbara Dickson's band. You're the new boy, I believe.
I am.
Oh dear.
This will be my second tour now.
Okay. So you're not getting bullied anymore now?
No, I'm not. All the bumps and all that practical joke stuff is over now. Yeah.
Okay, I mean, we're here in Spilsby, of course, for the video shoot for Barbara's new DVD, her debut on DVD.
Yeah.
The one, this is specifically filmed for DVD. The other DVD that came out was previously a video.
Yeah.
We've been talking about the pressure to the various musicians. I mean, you're the new boy and we're doing a DVD in a small, intimate theatre. I mean, so... and also, you do have a feature as well because you take the part that Jerry Rafferty originally took on The Times They Are A-Changing.
Yeah.
Can we just wind this pressure up a bit more, please?
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, how do you feel about it? I mean, because I watched the rehearsal earlier and it was superb. It was great.
Well, I just absolutely love singing with Barbara. You know? I mean, she's just got a fantastic voice.
Your voices work well together, though, in that setting. And whilst, obviously, I'm aware of the Jerry Rafferty version of that particular song with Barbara, I mean, your voice works very well. I mean, was it decided that... did everybody have a go at it, or was it decided, no, you can do it?
Well, what I did is 2 years ago, when she did Full Circle, the album, she did a track called Across the Hills.
Right.
So I did the male part in that, the duet.
Right.
So I think that probably
it came
comes
from that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
mean,
it works well.
How does it feel for you, bear in mind that, as again we've said, you're the new boy, it's in an intimate theatre, and this is a kind of solo piece, really. It's kind of a feature. I mean, because Pete does a feature as well, doesn't he? And I know him so well. Yeah. Is that good for you? I mean,
it's great, because you're just surrounded and supported by your friends. Because we're all mates now. I mean, you know, you can't do 32 dates back to back, as we did this February. You know, and not get on. I mean, which we did.
This concert is obviously is a one-off, but you've got a big tour coming up in February, and there's another tour in April. Yeah. I mean, how do you feel about that? I mean, it's because Troy said at the moment this band is really at its peak. Yeah. Would you agree with that?
I would, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I love his arrangements. They always push you. You know, especially from my end of the theatre, because it's very orchestral.
Yes.
You know. Loads of pianos and brass sections and choirs coming in and out, and it's
well, your sort of job, I guess, is to provide the background, and that's very important. You would notice it if it wasn't there.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, you know, it's a very important part of the arrangements, really. When you sort of you go out live with the band, I mean, how much rehearsal does the band normally partake in? I mean,
usually it's 4 or 5 days at the most.
Because it's been a week for this particular shoot.
It has, yeah. It's been 4 days actual rehearsal.
Yeah. I mean, the set list is very eclectic as well. Yeah. I mean, people are obviously going to expect certain songs like I Know Him So Well, Another Suitcase, but some of the more recent material, again, this is the first time, Troy said it's the first time some of the band have actually heard the new material.
Yeah.
I mean...
I mean, mighty arrangements.
Yeah.
You know.
But the songs are great, and there's not one. The set list doesn't actually flag for a minute, which I think is so. I mean, how important is it to put the right set together? Particularly, I mean, bearing in mind that this is going to be immortalised on disc, and that you know.
Well, it's everybody's opinion counts, and it's the feel of the how the songs run. You know, and we all just sit together and think about it, and it's like Russ comes up with some great ideas.
Yeah.
About swapping a few songs around, and things that you miss. Right, good idea. And
well, I think after this particular gig and the DVD and the forthcoming tour, you're not the new boy anymore. You're one of the gang. Nick,
yes,
great to speak
absolutely.
to you.
Thanks
you very much.
Cheers.
Okay, we're joined by Brad Lang now, who's the bass player in Barbara Dickson's band. Brad, good to speak to you. Here we are in Spilsby Theatre for the Shoes of Barbara's DVD. Yep. There's your rig over there.
Yes.
That's a big fiddle. You'll not get that under your chin, will you?
Oh, I haven't heard that before.
Yes, I know. But the old ones are the best, You're playing some of the songs from the new album. You say you're going to be actually recording, do some things on the new album tomorrow, in fact. But the songs that we're playing tonight, you only heard at the beginning of the week for rehearsals.
Yes, the new ones. Yeah.
How difficult is that for somebody coming into a band, recording a DVD and saying, "Oh, we're going to play some new songs"? You won't have heard them.
Well, Troy did say he'd actually sent them to me, but one of them I never got. So
post-strike.
Yeah, could have been. Well, it's okay. It's just you work it out as a band together when we do the rehearsals. So nothing's carved in stone yet.
No, well, I suppose, but I mean, this is a one-off shoot, which is obviously everything's got to be right. I mean, things can never be perfect, but they have to be as perfect as you can on the night. I mean, we talked to some of the musicians about the pressure. What's it like for you doing something like this?
Well, I felt okay until you just said that, really.
Oh, sorry, Brad. It'll be fine.
I'm sure it'll be fine. No, it should be fine. We did this rehearsal. So
well, I saw the rehearsal this afternoon as well, and it sounded great. It was really good. So I sat in the back. I almost wanted to clap. And I kind of thought, no, that's not cool. Can't do that. I'm with the band. But something like this it's going to go out there and it's going to be there forever, for want of a better expression. So it does have to be sort of right on the money. In terms of playing with the band, Troy said that this band is really at its peak. Would you go along with that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's a really good version of this band. The personnel of it now. Mm-hmm. Apart from the music, everybody gets on so well together.
Yeah, well, that's always a good sign, isn't it?
And I knew Nick 20 odd years ago. I was in his band.
You mean the new boy?
Yeah. So when Troy said, "Oh, Nick's joining the band," I thought, "Oh, fantastic!" I haven't seen him for 20 years, but it's got something in common.
Have you paid him back that tenner you owe him yet? I mean, the thing about I'm looking at the basses of you've got a string bass, obviously. You've got a beautiful fretless bass.
Oh, yeah,
there.
it's a beautiful bass.
And last time I saw the other bass, I think somebody like Jack Bruce was playing one of those.
Oh, it's a Warwick bass.
It's a lovely bass, that.
Yeah, it's a good bass.
The set list is very eclectic, so I guess you need these different instruments for different songs.
Yeah, it wouldn't be... the main bass is really the fretless on the majority of songs. But there are things like the more folk things that the double bass just seems right on some of them.
The traditional feel throughout the set, I know, was very, very strong. And of course, a lot of people know Barbara from their pop days and things like that. But I was saying to Troy, she goes right the way back to the traditional music before people had heard of her in the 60s and very early 70s, of course. But when they think of Barbara Dickson, some people think, oh, the big show tunes like I Know Him So Well and Another Suitcase. Yeah. But there has always been the traditional element there. I mean, how's that for you coming in? I mean, do you like the traditional side
it's great because I'd never actually played that sort of music before. I mean, I never asked to play it. And it's great. I really love it. It's great music. And I wasn't sure, if I was going to like it.
It's one of those things, it's kind of suck it and see thing, isn't it? And you never really know. Because I suppose a lot of people, when they say traditional, They think of people in Aran sweaters with fingers in their ears
Exactly.
and twigs in their real ale.
Yeah.
Which there's nothing wrong with that, I have to say. I love twigs in my real ale. But no, seriously, I mean, there's traditional music is so eclectic and so across the board. There's so many different styles as well within the genre.
Yeah.
So it's great that you sort of like it.
Yeah, I really got into it.
I mean, how are you feeling about tonight after the rehearsal we had this
great!
afternoon?
I mean, after having sort of the cameramen in your face all the time, it's nice to be nice.
Occupational hazard.
Yeah, but it does. That is, you can't concentrate, can you?
I know. It's like, please.
Mind me bass.
Yeah, I know. It's awful. But I mean, so you're feeling good about the gig tonight?
Yeah, really, yeah.
And of course, you're going to do some playing on the album tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going tomorrow up to Troy's.
And hopefully there'll be a few more songs from the album in the live set come February when you're doing the British tour.
Hopefully, yeah.
February and April,
yeah.
Which would be great.
It's not that far away now, is it?
It's not really, isn't it?
Yeah.
You just ruined mine. We've got Christmas before that. I can't believe I said Christmas. Brad, it's lovely to speak to you. Have a great time.
Thanks very much. Enjoy it.
Cheers. And this is Marva, and that's the monkey. I don't know. Okay. He's changing the gel up there. If you notice, he's got a little bit more.
Right, with Jeff Cousins now. Jeff, you're the director of this shoot. Barbara Dickson, live at the Spilsby Theatre. How do you set up for something like this? This is a one-off sort of shoot, really, a one-off concert. Obviously, the pressure's on to get it right. I mean, how do you approach something like this?
Production started a couple of months ago. We actually came down on site to do a recce.
Yeah.
So Barbara was down also, and the lighting director. So we were able to assess the premises, decide where we were going to put the cameras, decide where other band members were going to be. So we could pretty much plan things on paper, things like camera positions, taking into consideration lighting issues. So the recce was very important. And then, in terms of production, we turned up yesterday with the team, actually rigged the cameras in position. Along with PK, we actually tested the lighting setups. We actually did test shots with Barbara, just to make sure everything was spot on. And one of the other benefits is we've been able to do a run-through of the show this afternoon.
Which I watched, which was very good.
And we were able to get lots of extra shots which we can edit in
as
to the final
cutaways
production.
and things like that.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, I'm getting very technical in my old age. I suppose, presumably then, the more you get right actually before the shoot and during the shoot, the easier it is to edit.
Sure. Potentially we're going to have 10 camera positions to edit, so that is quite a labour-intensive process. It's probably going to take around 2 weeks just to put the concert together. I
mean, a 10-camera shoot effectively, but is a rather intimate theatre. I mean, it's a beautiful little theatre, this, but I mean, that is a big shoot, really, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
There are bigger bands who've used less.
That's right. The interesting thing with this particular concert, as you've probably seen, is there's lots of different instruments in use. We've got the pipes, we've got the Irish bagpipes, a series of guitars, saxophones. So it's really important to capture some of those instruments, and that's really why we've had to shoot twice. Because on one run through, we probably wouldn't be able to pick up all the smaller instruments and all the little sort of subtle.
We've spoken to the musicians about the pressure, but I mean, for you guys filming it, the pressure has to be immense because you have to get it right, don't you? Really?
Yes, it has to be right first time. But again, because we were able to do the run through in the afternoon, it did almost cover our backs a little bit.
How do you sort of, I mean, you've explained a little bit that you came in and did a kind of light test. I mean, how important is it to work with the lighting crew and the lighting technicians? Because I guess bad lighting can make a video shoot very, very difficult.
It's really important because guys who are used to lighting gigs are lighting for a theatre experience.
That's right.
The audience is, 50, 100 feet away from the musicians. Television, obviously, gets people within a couple of feet of people.
Yeah.
So the lighting has to be fairly sympathetic.
Yeah.
In some respects.
I guess also the feel must be for the finished product to make it feel like you're actually in the audience witnessing the show, I guess.
Yes, the fact we've been able to get some cameras on stage should provide quite an intimate sort of feel to the show, to actually be within 2 or 3 feet of the musicians.
Have you got anything that you think may go wrong? I mean, it's a case of touch wood, it doesn't. But I mean, there's always something. You've always got to be prepared just in case. I mean, do Do you have any little set plans put in place for anything like that, should something arise?
We've spoken to Barbara, and because it's an invited audience, there is an element that we could almost repeat things if there's any major disasters.
We're hoping, of course, that won't happen.
Absolutely, but...
but you're all prepared for that anyway?
We are, and as I say, we can always run through a song a second time if need be. Maybe even after the audience has left, we could...
Well, Jeff, I watched the run-through this afternoon, which was superb. I don't think there's going to be any problem. I hope there are.
Hopefully not, no.
And good luck with the shoot tonight.
Fantastic, thanks.
And you're part of Andy's party as well. And you're working with the other days of the Scottish. Yeah. This guy who was a Jeff, and I spelled it with a J, and he was a G. It's like you're guaranteed to get to know. Although if you remember the sentence.
Okay, I'm sending the band on.
Okay. See you out there.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Barbara Dickson.